So one of the most exciting purchases that I have made in the last 2 years has been getting my audio setup a little bit more up to date, as well as to go a little bit more beyond, to finally give myself some really good audio, even better than what I have been before. But I'm the type of person that wants more when it comes to anything that has to do with sound, but not everybody is like that. Some people, when they get their new TV and they're just trying to get away from the bad audio, they will normally come to a solution like a sound bar to be able to fulfill their needs and to be able to get somewhat of a decent, more spacious sound when it comes to their listening, especially if they're only doing regular TV. For this video, it's going to be pretty much targeting them, as I'm going to introduce a product that I feel that may be within your budget range, as well as something that might give you everything that you need if you decide that the compromises that you have to make are good, or at least good enough until you get something better. How's it going, everybody? My name is Dushaunwilliams, and today we're going to be looking at the Vizio 5.1 model number SB3251N soundbar setup and why this may be a perfect fit for you. Now, starting this video off, you have a lot going for this setup, especially for you if you're looking for not just to have better audio in general, but you want to have something that gives you a more theater movie-like experience, but you just don't have a few $1,000s laying in pocket to just waste that kind of money. This unit costs right now, I'm gonna say $148, but if you can go to a Walmart and see if you can still find it, you might be able to get it for $70. So there's an incentive of going out to try and find it today. The number one reason why I feel like a lot of people are gonna pick this up is because it comes with a complete setup. We're talking a 32-inch soundbar, 2 rear speakers, and a subwoofer. Putting out about 98 decibels, I believe, and it's just, I mean, honestly, it's just a really nice complete setup, but it just doesn't stop there. The subwoofer is wireless, so it doesn't have to be connected to the sound bar at all, and in fact, as long as it's like can see the sound bar, it's gonna work out pretty well. So it can be as back far as possible, and the rear speakers that connect to the subwoofer come with 25-foot cables. So honestly, you could mount this on the ceiling with some duct tape and some other stuff, and you'll be able to reach it without any problem. What I also mean by complete setup, I mean that this box literally comes with everything. You don't have to go back to the store and to go get anything else, and that includes the HDMI cable if you have ARC for your television, the optical cable in case you just have any TV that's not a tube TV. You also have I think the stereo to aux cable, I think that comes with it too. Either way, you can actually pretty much set this up to a phone or to like a laptop if you really need to. So if you're trying to get this even for a computer, I say go for it, no one's stopping you. But you also even have the mounts. So if you want to mount the soundbar as well as the rear speakers, it already comes with the mounts in them. You don't have to really get anything. If there's anything that you have to go buy with this unit, it is probably these stands here that you would need to try and like host it up. Another thing that I do want to hit on is the fact that it does have Bluetooth capabilities. You can just pretty much send music and all that. It actually plays out pretty well. I don't see myself using it at all too much, but I do want to say that it is great to have something like that, because in most households, if you don't have like a lot of speakers just laying around or whatever, something that can just play music when you're cleaning or any of that other kind of stuff, I feel like to me kind of works out really well. The next setup, I do feel like this is probably going to be another more enticing look at this product, is the fact that it has easy setup. Since this thing comes with everything, it also comes with a good manual to kind of explain what everything does, as well as all the components and everything. But just kind of looking at all the components out the box, you can already tell where everything goes. The soundbar and the subwoofer are both wireless with the Bluetooth connection, so those will also be paired right out of the box. You don't even have to worry about pairing those, and if you have to, you just hit the 2 pairing buttons on the back and on the front, and there you go. But the rear speakers all connect to the subwoofer with cables that are color coded, so you don't even have to really think about where those cables go. You just put those cables wherever they need to go. And the longest, when it comes to like mounting and everything, you know, the mounts are pretty simple. They show you where to go. All you need is pretty much a way to drill them into the wall, or any other way that you would put on a speaker. And honestly, it's up to you. These speakers are very light. However you feel like you can put those on them. You know, you could probably get like a lot of chew gum and whatever and put it on the wall, and it might actually be able to hold it. That's how light these speakers are. And the last good thing I do want to hit on is something that's a little bit unique to the bar itself, is that it does have some EQ options. So when we look at the remote here, we can actually hit the menu and all that to tell it what to do, tell what kind of equalization to have. So it does have movie and cinema. It does have ways to put particular emphasis on parts of the setup, so that way if you want more bass, less treble, if you want the surround sound to be pretty much a little bit more presentable, or if you want the speakers themselves to be maybe have a little bit more focus on where the sound comes from, you could do that with simple plus and minuses. So it's really simplistic, but in also some other cases it could be a little bit more confusing, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So with this setup and complete consideration of everything that it does, it actually gives you, the average consumer, a lot of stuff to look forward to. It's real easy to use, can work for pretty much anything, has a little bit more use out of it than just working for the TV. And by testing it on games, movies, and regular television, I could definitely say if you really want the 5.1 sound system to kind of really come out, then mainly it's going to work better for games and for Blu-rays and movies that you know support 5.1. It doesn't work too well on YouTube videos, but you know, there are some sacrifices that got to be made. However, there are a few painstaking reasons of why this is a budget option. And a lot of the stuff would probably, personally for me, prevent me from actually buying it as a way of using it. And for other people, maybe it's like a step in the right direction or something that they can use just for now, but definitely are going to try and grow out of. The number one reason is actually kind of split, because it depends on what you care about, and it's the fact that you can't really control the subwoofer or the rear speakers. Now what I mean by control is you can't really, they don't come with their own volume sticks or anything that you can actually go behind the speaker to kind of tell it where to go and all that. Now that's really common for rear speakers, because rear speakers are normally just connected with speaker wire cable, but for the subwoofer, normally you want to sometimes have more thump for some other songs and less thump for maybe just daily use of watching television. And with the subwoofer, it's pretty much full frontal, pairs with the volume of the whole unit. So if you turn it up louder, you will be turning up the thumping and the bass and all the other stuff up loud with it. You cannot tell it no. And if you turn it off, you also turn off the rear speakers. Now the reason why I said this is kind of split in the middle was my issue was the fact that the rear speakers themselves, I want to turn these up louder in order to really enjoy my experience. Now they are present in some cases, and in a small room you'll definitely hear them, but in a large room and some other cases, the sound bar is just very overpowering to where the rear speakers sometimes just get hidden even if they're like this close to you. Like right now, these I will probably still say are not the optimal positions to your ear to put it at. They really need to be literally angled like they're trying to yell at your head. That's how these speakers need to be in order for them to completely be pretty much present when you're watching anything. And you might find that common with 5.1 sound systems, but there are other sound systems like the Sonos where you can actually control the sound that actually comes out through the rear speakers, as well as for different content. So if you're watching television, you can bring it out like that. If you're watching something else, or maybe if you're listening to music, you can kind of bring it out like that. But in this case, you're pretty much just static. Whatever it kind of comes with, this is what you're gonna have to accept. And for some audio enthusiasts, it might be hard to really deal with not being able to have more control over your setup, and will probably less attractive as to wanting to listen to some of your favorite things. The other thing is something I already kind of hit at, but I am going to repeat it. The soundbar is very overpowering when it comes to the rest of the setup, especially if the subwoofer is present. When you have the subwoofer on and you're listening to everything, pretty much you feel like everything's coming from the front, and it's just one big sound that's coming at you, and the rear speakers are just almost non-existent. But in some cases it just might not be as pleasant, I guess the way to kind of say it, because a lot of the sounds coming to you might not be exactly equalized or spread out. And some of the content that I was trying to watch, or some of the other stuff I was looking, just as a 3.1 setup, wasn't exactly like the #1 experience, or it didn't really exactly blow me away in the way that I want music and videos and stuff to really take a hold of me. And so for this one, it's just loud to them equals better, and that's not going to be exactly the case for even some of the more easygoing people out there. And the last thing is, and this is what I feel like really separates it from the more expensive home theater options, and this being a budget option, is definitely the wide sound stage that actually comes out through the soundbar. Pretty much it doesn't have one. Again, the soundbar itself just pushes out a lot of sound. The louder it goes, the more you come out of it, but it doesn't do its best to really equalize a lot of the sounds. Now, I did say it does have some kind of equalization, but there are just some more that you probably wanted to do that it's just not doing. I had compared this to two other setups. One, my Martin Logan setup that I still haven't completed yet, that has its center console, front 2 speakers, and a subwoofer that you can control, and is also wireless. And I've also compared it to the Sonos setup, which you can see the Sonos ones behind me, and the Sonos Play bar that is the main sound bar for this. And the biggest difference that made it pretty much night and day kind of decision is the fact that the Martin Logans themselves were not only just loud, and the fact that you can pretty much turn up and down the subwoofer, have the bass be really present, is the fact that everything's felt unison. The singers, you pretty much heard them as loud as the bass, everything was present. Like, this is without equalization, it's just the way that the speakers were handling the sound and really showing a powerful presence of what it sounds like to hear something like in a, you know, on a concert. Maybe as they're doing the recording themselves, you're actually in the room where they're recording it. That's how it feels. And with the Sonos, there are maybe a little more limited options, but the soundbar itself does do a pretty good job. It does open up as well. You could definitely hear the difference between the center part of it and the left and right speakers, to where it just doesn't, it sounds like in one unit, but you can hear some equilibrium between everything. However, this guy that comes with everything complete doesn't make you feel like you're in the same room as the artist. A lot of the stuff just doesn't feel like it's playing its part, more like the bass is trying its best to outplay the singer. So there are just a lot of things that you probably maybe not enjoy as well, or honestly you probably wouldn't even recognize it if you didn't have these other setups next to it. But if there's anything that really holds it back from being a more expensive option or more luxurious option, is the fact that it just doesn't have the sound presence that you wish it had for something that's supposed to be surround sound. So as a final conclusion or final say about this product itself, honestly for $148, it is not a bad option. And honestly, if you don't really care about your audio and you want something that's better, but you want to feel like you don't have a movie setup, this might do the job. This might produce that extra sound that you're looking for. It might be a good present for somebody. It's probably good for your kid in his bedroom and stuff. As your living room option, I can see you using it for. You'll probably maybe not love it as much, but it will do the job. It's good enough to where, considering other options within the price range, might be hard to kind of determine whether or not you want to go with this one over maybe even the Sony or Samsung brands that just have the sound bar and stuff, and maybe they sound good. You might find it really hard to really want to spend the extra $50 to $100. But when it comes to, like, again, like bigger options, my Martin Logan speakers, the side monitor speaker of it, costs more than almost double of this setup, and it itself produces a really decent sound, and with a subwoofer to kind of back it up, honestly, there's no comparison. Even my audio engine speakers for my computer will probably blow out this whole thing by itself, and it doesn't even have the sound bar. So it is something that if you are looking for something to fulfill a need now, it will probably be a good thing to consider. And definitely if you find it for $70 at Walmart, it'd be hard to really pass this up, because you're not going to get anything really that good around $70 that's going to give you all this, plus all the extras that it also delivers with it. Now with that, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I was able to give you enough depth about this product to make an informed decision. And if you feel like you still left this video without really understanding or really feeling that there's a yes or a no, like you just haven't come to a really easy decision with it, let me know. Let me be able to work better for you when I explain products, and tell me if there's anything that you wish to know more about this product down below. With that being said, hopefully everything that you saw today will help you make a better and a more informed decision tomorrow.